What's going on, everybody? KSA Kris, Real Estate Blitz. I'm really excited about this one. I actually did a class the other day for our team, and what happened is the team, a lot of the agents were like, "Hey, we want a class strictly on closing." Right? So we're talking about closings, and this is something that comes up with a lot of agents all the time. As I was talking to all the agents, it's to me, closing somebody is it's not something that you do at the end of the deal. So I think what they expected is that I would show up and we would have a conversation on what could I say to them to say, "Hey, are you ready to buy this house now?" So there's closing on a call to a potential buyer, closing on a call to a potential listing, and then there's closing on the showing with a buyer and closing at a listing appointment, right? So those are the four things that we usually want to know about when we talk about closing somebody. And look, there are tips and tricks at the appointment in order to close them on the specific thing that you want. And I'll talk about that. But today I'm just going to talk about closing buyers. And what I want you to understand, in my opinion, it's a process, man. It's more than just showing up and saying, "Okay, do you love this house? Great. Would you like to write an offer?" Yes, that is closing somebody, because at the end of the process, whatever process, buying or selling, you need to ask them for business. You have to ask them for business. "Hey, I'd like to work with you. Would you like to work with me?" "Great. Let's get your house listed. I'm going to give you some paperwork. Let's do the paperwork," right? There's always going to be some form of closing. But in my opinion, what I found is closing starts from the moment I first talk to them. That's right. So today we're just going to talk about buyers. And if you're looking at a buyer, whether it's through an inbound lead, so let's say you get an inbound lead, or somebody calls you and reaches out to you and says, "I'm looking to buy a house. I want to buy a house." I start closing them immediately, but it's not like I'm punching them right in the face. It's really a process. So I'm going to break down that process for you today. So I'm on the phone with somebody and they're like, "I want to buy a house." Fantastic. Great. I'm really excited about that. I'm the guy to help you. I'm all about helping you find the home of your dreams so you can, get your family in there, whatever it is. Now, of course, leading up to this point, as I'm getting to know them, I should be building rapport. I should be telling them, how great I am, because you need to let people know that you're a professional. I'm a real estate professional. I help people buy and sell homes. This is why you want to use me. But you don't want to get too lost on all that stuff when it comes down to closing. So this is why I'd say that's part of the conversation. This is how you start structuring. "Hey, fantastic. Need you to do me a favor. Give me your email real quick." So you're going to get their email address, right? "I'm going to set up a search for you, and this is what I want you to do." So now comes the education. So after I say, "I'm going to set you up a search, I'm going to send it by email. This is what I want you to do." So after you've qualified them to make sure that they're the real deal buyer, of course, you've talked about, have you been qualified by a lender? This is why lending is important. I built rapport. I know that this person is doing this. I know why they're moving. I know why they're trying to buy a house. You're going to roll right into, "I'm going to set you up a search. We're going to educate them. When I send you this search, what I would like you to do is actually go through it and kind of pick out, I'm going to send you about 50 properties." Yes, I said 50. A lot of agents are going to look for very specific things. They're going to send like 3, 4, or 5 properties. You're going to send them 50. I'm going to send you about 50 properties. I'm going to bounce around your range a little bit and maybe show you a few different areas. What I want you to do is to really go through there with you and your wife, or you and your husband. And I want you to really pick out 10 that you really, really like, okay? You look at them, you really, really like them, and favorite them. So at least on our app, they can sit there and say, "Yeah, that's one of my favorites." I want you to favorite those. Then I'm calling you in a day or two, and we're going to really kind of go through that and really weed out a little bit more on what you want. And that way we can really schedule some really good showings. So we're walking in really looking at exactly what you want to see and not really wasting your time, because I know you're a very busy individual. By the way, I love the Columbo close, but it is what it is. By the way, when can you be available to go out on showings? I'm available on Saturday from at 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 4 o'clock. What time is good for you? So I always give times. I say this day, these times. I use the same times. I'm so used to it now. 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I'm available at 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 4 o'clock. What's a good time for you? One of two things is going to happen. They're either going to say those times don't work for me, or they're going to pick a time. Now, if they say those times don't work for me, this is what you do. You go, okay, what time would work for you? They're going to come back and say, "Well, I can do 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock. Okay. Well, man, I work with so many people. I'm so busy, but you know what? Let me look at my calendar. Hold on one second." you know what, just for you, I'm going to move some stuff around. I'm going to adjust my schedule quite a bit, and I'm going to make it happen. Let's do 12 o'clock, okay? And let's just pen that in right now. 12 o'clock on Saturday, we're going to meet. I'm going to send you this information right now. Once we get off the phone, I'm going to send you a text message, or if they prefer a phone call, I'm going to give you a quick phone call, just confirm you got it. And then I need you to go through that with your wife or your husband and really break it down to the 10 properties you really like. Okay, sounds great. Hang up. Here's why you did that. Okay, so first off the first call, we built rapport, we sat there, we established relationship. Then we established, I'm going to set up a search, give me your information. Then we established that I'm going to send them 50 properties to look at. You really want to be in the 50. If you can only get 40 or 30, it is what it is, but you really want to be around 50. And the reason why is if they say my price point is 600,000, I want to be at about 550 all the way up to 650. I want to expand my range a little bit. And if they're like, I want to be in Fallbrook. Well, I'm going to look at Fallbrook. I'm going to look at Vista. I'm going to look at Valley Center, and I'm going to bring in Oceanside. I'm going to have them look at a lot of different things because this is what typically happens. People think they know what they want, but they don't really know what they want until they start exploring and really experiencing it with a professional, which is going to be you. Why is this important? Why are we doing this? Well, I hear it all the time. Yeah, man, I had to show them 60 homes before they bought the home that we're in escrow on. I'm trying to save you time and energy. I'm trying to save them time and energy. A lot of our clients are either driving in from LA, they're driving in from Orange County, or a lot of our clients fly in from other states or from Northern California. So I don't want to waste their time. I want to make sure that the first time, at a minimum, the second time, they pick the house that they love. This is how we do it. So I already told you part one. Part two, I'm giving a call back. You should already look on through your app if you have a CRM, right? And say, okay, they love these 10 properties. Let me look at them. And you're going to research them. Okay, what markets are they in? Are they where they said they were? What are the price points they're really looking at? Because somebody could say, well, my price point is 400,000, but they're looking at the 410, 420. Now I got to make sure that they're going to be qualified, or I got to negotiate that in the deal, right? So you're already kind of getting your wheels spinning too. So I'm going to give them a call back and say, hey, you guys got some time? I want to go through these 10 properties. So the first one that we're going to do is, as we're walking through these properties, you're going to walk through these properties with them. You're going to ask them, go property by property. You're going to be negative this first time. Okay, so let's look at it. Okay, what do you hate about this property? Now keep in mind, the next time I'm going to teach you. The next time we're going to be positive. This time I'm going to say, what do you hate about this property? Well, I think it's a really good property, but I really don't like the paint. Okay, great. You don't like the paint. Well, what paint color, what would you like? Like, what's up with the paint? Okay, great. So if you were so this is actually part of the close at the very end of it. If you were going to do this on a scale of 1 to 10, and actually one of my agents uses a scale of 1 to 5. If you're going to 1 to 10, what would this house be? It'd be about a 6. Okay, so if it's a 6, what would make it a 10 for you? Well, the paint. The paint would make it a 10. Okay, great. So what I'm doing, I'm sitting there saying to myself, okay, it's at the price point. It's in the right area. It's just the paint. I know interior paint, at least in our market, depending on the size of the home, I'm looking at $3,000. It's $3,000 for paint. Okay, but it would make it a 10 for them. Fantastic. Let's go to the next one. Okay, and then after I say hate, then I follow up and say, okay, what do you love about this property? They're going to say, man, I love the kitchen. I love this. I love the backyard. You should be taking notes, because that's the stuff they really want. As they're exploring and experiencing these different properties, they're like, man, okay, I'm starting to really love certain things. Now you're going to go through each one of these properties with them, and you're going to be marking down scale 1 to 10 what it is. So you say, okay, so it looks like property X, and property X. It looks like these were the 3 properties that are closest to a 10 that you really, really like. Would you like to go see those 3 properties this weekend? Yeah, that would be great. Fantastic. So then you're helping them whittle down that list so they find 3 that are closest to 10. Not only that, but you know exactly what they hate. And you're able to start guiding them and steering them based off of your professional knowledge on what's going to be a great house. Then you schedule the appointment. So that's part 2. Now, you go on the appointment. So you've already scheduled the appointment. You show up to the appointment. You should have information and data on every freaking property. You should also have a list of the other properties, right, that they liked. So you're going and seeing 3 to 5, but you have the other 5 or so that are sitting there. You have information on those properties too. So you can compare and contrast. Okay. When you show up to, and here's the thing, whatever property they loved the most, whichever one was closest to a 10, you make that the last one that you go look at. You make it the last one that you go look at. So you go to the first property, you go and walk through it. Same thing. You walk through those hates, you walk through those likes, and you're going to be positive when you go in there. Okay, what do you love about this place? Now that you physically have seen it, what do you love about it? Okay, what don't you like about it? Now, I didn't use the word hate. What don't you like about it? Okay, great. So this one, it's still the pain. Well, here's the thing. This house is actually, because you've done your homework, this house is actually valued about $10,000 under market. So it's actually worth $430,000. You're buying it. If they have it listed for $420,000, we might even be able to get a little bit cheaper. Paint for this house is only going to cost about $3,000. And you said it would make it a 10. So fantastic. That's very good. So if it had paint, you said it would be a 10, but right now this is still where you stand. Or did it bump up? Did it bump down? Great. Let's go look at the next house. Let's look at the next house. You do the same thing for all three houses. At the end of that, they should be so well educated that they're either able to say, you know what? I want to pick the third house because I love that one. And my objection to that house is an easy fix, or that objection to the house is offset because of the cost or price. The objection to the house is offset because it has a pool, or because it's on a cul-de-sac, or because of this or that or the other. Now, one of two things is going to happen. They're either going to say, yes, I love it. And if they say, man, this is the house, I really love it. Fantastic. Tell you what, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you some paperwork. Or fantastic. I have some paperwork on me. Let's write an offer. This is what I would recommend we do in order to get this house for whatever, right? And that's a whole different thing. But you go right in. So there's already an assumption. For me, there's already an assumption that we're writing an offer. I never say, fantastic, would you like to write an offer? I just assume. I assume. Fantastic. You say you love it. You say that it's a pretty darn close to a 10. You recognize that in order to make it a 10, it's some minor things. You say that you want this house. So you know what? Fantastic. Hey, I'm going to send you some paperwork. Here's my recommendations on how we should write the offer. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna go back to my office right now. I'm gonna sit down. Or why don't you come back to my office right now and let's sit down and write out this offer. Or I have some paperwork on me right now. I can sit down and write this offer and we can get it out. Or give me 2 seconds. Let me call the agent. This is what I think we should do. This is what I think we should offer. Let me call the agent and see if it's still available. And let me bounce this idea off of them on what we could be coming in at to see if it's reasonable. So I just assume, and then we're writing an offer. Now, if they're like, man, I liked all three of them and I really liked this one, but I don't know, man. Here's the thing. You're walking away with so much information that you know exactly what they love, you know exactly what they hate, and you know exactly what their objections are going to be and how to annihilate those objections. So you say, no problem. Right there, I'm rescheduling. When can I get you back? Because here's the thing. We have these other ones. Do you have time right now? You do have time right now? Fantastic. Let's go through these other ones that you liked, and let's go through and figure out which ones actually fit the bill. Okay, you don't have time right now? Fantastic. Can I get you tomorrow? Can we? No? Because I have time tomorrow. So when are you going to be available? So I'm rescheduling immediately. And after I reschedule, I'm going to go back and I'm going to sit down and then I'm going to find the house that they love because now I know exactly what they want. So a lot of this is listening. It's going to take some listening. It's going to take a lot of asking questions. I tell our agents all the time, ask as many questions as it takes until you're at the point to where you know exactly what is going on. Okay? So ask questions. And here's the thing. After you ask questions, shut up and listen. Take notes. I actually always take a book or a binder with me. I have a clipboard. And while they're talking to me, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm always taking notes of everything that they say. Always. A, it makes you look like you're actually working for them. But B, we can't remember everything. So I'm taking notes. And that way, the second time that I get them on the road, I know that we're going to find the house that they absolutely love and we're going to write an offer. That's how you close a buyer. That's how I do it. If you didn't catch everything, there's so many gold nuggets in what I just said. You need to go back, watch this video again, take a ton of notes because I gave you my closings. I gave you start to finish how to actually prepare them and create expectations. So when you go out, you're going to sign offers faster and you know exactly what they want. And you're going to get more properties into escrow with the more contacts and conversations that you have. That's all I got today. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Do me a favor, like, share, comment. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate that. And I'll see you on the next video. Have a good one.